Hello, and welcome back to another train trip episode here on the channel. While in Colorado, I took a ride on the Georgetown Loop Railroad. We started our trip at the Devil's Gate boarding area at the bottom of the line near Georgetown. I was feeling a little under the weather, so I didn't get my usual footage of the gift shop. Today we'll just cut straight to the trains. The Devil's Gate boarding area sits at an elevation of 8,615 feet. By the time we get to the top of the Silver Plume boarding area, we would be at 9,178 feet, so a little over 500 foot elevation gain. So after a brief wait in line, we found some seats about halfway through the train in an open car and started our journey by backing up underneath the Devil Gates Bridge.
We are off. And folks, those three whistles in train talk means that the train will be moving backwards. Yes, I did say backwards. We're actually not going to begin our journey up the hill. We're going to start by going down the hill. And no, that's not so we can get a running start. That our steam engine has more than enough power to start anywhere.
Overall, this trip would be about an hour and 15 minutes, half an hour up to Silver Plume, a 15-minute layover, and then half an hour back down. So, in no time at all, we found ourselves above the Devil Gates boarding area and would now head over the Devil Gates Bridge before heading up towards Hall Siding.
Yeah? Yeah. Well, so if you kind of look, it's kind of timed with the chugs of the engine. Which book?
Of our East Coast trip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
Halfway up to Silver Plume, we passed the Lebanon Mine loading platform. I had done this portion of the trip a number of years ago, and they've made a lot of renovations since then. We would actually stop here on the way back to both drop off some people that were going to tour the mine, as well as pick up the previous tour group. In no time at all, we found ourselves on the high fill, which is about 2/3 of the way up to Silver Plume. And after rounding this bend, it was almost a straight shot before passing another siding to get to the disembarking area. So, little history lesson as we pull into Silver Plume. Number 12 here, sitting on the siding, on blocks of all things, which I assume means they're either doing some axle or tire work on the locomotive, was originally built for the Kahului Railroad on the island of Maui in the state of Hawaii. Having been born and raised in Hawaii, any piece of Hawaii equipment I come across is always most welcomed to see.
78 feet above sea level. Now, folks, please brace yourselves as we are coming to a stop.
And with that, we made it up to Silver Plume. We only had 15 minutes here, which is probably one of the fastest layovers of my life. So I made a quick run up to see them refueling the engine with water before running down to a new museum space that they had a lot of neat coach cars as well as other historic equipment. And with 15 minutes over, we were right back on the train. In this short amount of time, they had refilled the engine with water as well as run it around so that they would run with the engine on the downhill side for the next portion of the trip. And with that, we made it back down to the Devil's Gate boarding area. This railroad has changed a lot since I rode it almost a decade ago, and some of the development is nice and the facilities are well kept, but I think some of the rustic charm, has kind of been lost over the years. I will say that the layover was way shorter than it needed to be, and 30 minutes would have been a lot nicer. I felt pretty rushed having to try and see everything within that 15-minute time frame. Overall, it's still a great ride for kids, families, and rail fans out there, so thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.